Hello friends, a very warm welcome to today's session, and today we would be discussing about features of IAM, that is Identity and Access Management Service. So let's see what we have got under this. So yesterday we spoke about the basics of IAM, and we understood what IAM is. I am assuming that you also have created your new AWS account and you have tried and tested what IAM is. But talking about features, so it's IAM ensures the secure access and centralized control of your AWS accounts. So assuming that the account that you are managing, you would have many employees or many users accessing this account. So it's a single point of you can say access where you can manage all your users groups and grant them access. So it's a centralized control of your entire AWS account. Shared access to your AWS account, so you can give shared access to this AWS account to any of the users that you want to. Granular permission, so IAM is one of the AWS services, and you would have more than 120 or 150 plus AWS services. But what you can do is, let's say if you created a user and you want that user to access EC2 service, now which is elastic cloud compute. So using IAM you can give a limited permission, like for accessing only EC2 service to that user. In fact, even if I talk about EC2, you can give so granular permission that the user should be able to only create instance but not able to delete or terminate the instance. So that is what we call granularity. So you can go fine with the services and with the level of permissions, whether we want to give read permissions, write permission, delete permissions. So those are the permissions, different sets of permission that you can give. Multi-factor authentication. So it's like having more than one factor of authentication, just like today for banking reasons, rather than having just your banking passwords, you get OTP, which is a second factor of authentication. So more than one factor of authentication is called multi-factor authentication. So in the same way, identity and access management, IAM, has multi-factor authentication, where let's say even if I have credentials to my AWS account, once I put that credentials, and if I have multi-factor available or activated in my account, then I would get a message on my mobile number or my mail ID. So that's second level of authentication, and you can integrate that. Identity federation. So let's assume that that you are a company, and if you have got already thousands of employees, then it would be very tedious to create those 1,000 users in your IAM. So that's possible to create, but it would be more of manual and tedious task. Instead of that, what we can do is we can integrate that with our own Active Directory. So being a company, every company would have their Active Directory where they would have list of all their employees and their employee IDs and their details. So you can integrate IAM with your Active Directory. Or think of the other example, like today you install many applications, Android applications, and what they integrate you with is Facebook or Google. I mean, you integrate your account with either Facebook account or with a Gmail. What if I ask you to, if I create my own application today, and if I ask you to fill all those details again, like your username, passwords, it would be very difficult for you to, create different username, different passwords on different sites and remember those. So today, you would have noticed, or you can realize that whatever applications are there available in the market, for the authentication, those application ask you to register via Facebook or Gmail. Why? Because there is already a user data existing with this directory of Facebook and LinkedIn, or you can say Gmail. So while creating a new application, you are just using the this facilities or the directory of Facebook, or you can say LinkedIn or Gmail. So we can use that. So that is available with IAM as well. You can integrate that with your company LDAP service or company Active Directory service. You can integrate with Facebook, Gmail, or whatever you want to feel like. So that's a very nice integration possible. Provide temporary access for users or devices and service where necessary. There is also option in IAM where you can give temporary access to the user. I mean, when I say temporary, so it means for a day or so, or with respect to limitation to time. So you can grant that level of access as well. Allows you to set up your own password rotation policy, that is rotate the password every 30 days. So when you register on various sites, you would have seen, when you set the password, there are various factors, like the password. If the password exceeds 30 days or 60 days, then you are supposed to change it. Then it shouldn't be simple or a dictionary word, but it should have combination of alphanumeric characters, special characters, underscores, and those things. So you can actually implement the way you want your users to set the passwords when they register into your account, AWS account. So you can set those password rotation policies and the complexity of those passwords. So that option is also available. Integrate with many different services. So this is the important thing. So we have more than, like I said, 150 plus services in Amazon. Now let's say you have EC2 instance. That now this EC2 instance would download some file from S3, which is simple storage service. So think of simple storage service as just as your Google Drive right now, though it's more than a Google Drive. But so the idea to understand is, your server wants to process some log files from a shared drive, which is S3 in this case. Now S3 is again Amazon service, and your EC2 again is an Amazon service. Why would S3 allow downloading or sharing of those files to any instance EC2? There has to be some mechanism to verify the identity, right? IAM come for a rescue here, where what happens is, if you create a IAM policy where you allow read access for the S3, and now attach this policy to your EC2 role. So when your EC2, that is instance, it wants to download logs or get logs from S3, so it already has a policy attached, which gives this policy gives read access over S3. So when your EC2 goes to S3 and asks for sharing the logs, just because it has got read policy, S3 would simply allow it. So this is what we call it integrating with many services. So don't worry, we have got a separate example or demo session for this. So this integration is also possible. Supports PCI DSS compliance. So when you talk about the card transactions, where you deal with debit or credit card of transactions, there are some standards, like you have to hash your card, which should, the card number should not be clearly visible. So there are some compliances that you need to meet, and fortunately IAM service supports all those compliance. So even if you are building a product which is related to the transactions, and so you are building your product on Amazon, and which has got some transaction related stuff, but since IAM is integrated with PCI DSS compliance, you can simply integrate IAM into that and have your product functioning the way you want it. So that's what we had under this section of features of IAM. So hope you liked it. See you in the next section. Goodbye.